Right.
There's nothing
What are we gonna do
clear
this hour?
about Jews and Mandela.
oh my guest ditched me today.
Nelson Mandela and the Jews.
1 second. Shut up, Itai, for a second.
Here, I'm on the Jewish virtual library. That should be biased enough for you.
No, it's not. It's horrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
To find something popular.
I guess I go with the U.S. Supreme Court.
I'm not going with the U.S. Supreme Court.
Fine, they're just so much more interesting than you. Jolie, what is her name? Angelina Jolie went to some country.
Who cares?
No, she made a really big point about, I think, children and poverty. I'm not sure.
Did somebody call me for?
Oh, Snowden, the U.S. in the Snowden case, NSA. That could be something to talk about.
How much time do we have?
Well, I don't know, a minute, unless I add more stuff.
Hold on, I'm on
Do you
my
want me to add
Globe
more
and
than a
Mail.
minute?
Oh, the Calgary water thing, Calgary flood. One moment. Oh, Michael Applebaum's gone. Talk about that. Why? Okay, so I'll say no. So that's that? Yeah.
Today, Radio Shalom has decided to honor some of its supporters.
More time?
Those who make monthly donations who pre-authorized
Get a song, throw a song in.
For honor these donors, each day you'll hear the name of one or another.
I can't find anything that you want to talk about. I don't want to see something.
Thanks to all who, through their monthly contributions, contribute to the basis of ability to stay on the air.
U.S. increasing military forces in Jordan. Syrian rebels say they have heavy weapons. Hold on a minute.
What's this one here? An interesting article.
Italy evidence. U.S. charges Snowden with espionage.
I don't have to do that. I want this to be moral.
Moral? Okay, I don't know what Russian.
I got it.
What? 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 Are you joking me?
What?
Are you joking?
What is it?
Are you actually?
Actually.
Where is this? Where is this? Where is this? Where is this? What province? What province was this?
Strong Rock Christian School. I don't know.
I think it's in Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia.
You're joking. That's ridiculous. These people need lives. Oh my God.
Actually, the religious community is going to say, well, you know, girls should be playing with boys anyway. Let's do that story. What are you cheating about? Jesus.
Not letting your girl play.
Jesus.
But she's too pretty to play. Like,
she might elicit lustful behavior from the other 13-year-old boys that are playing on the team.
oh yes. Heaven forbid that a girl should play boys.
That's not what they're saying. They're saying she should play with the boys.
Are they saying she shouldn't play with the boys, but the girls shouldn't have any soccer team either?
That's not what they're saying.
Oh, what are they saying?
She shouldn't play with the boys.
Oh, this is like she
She shouldn't play on a boys' team. They should play on a girls' team.
No.
She wants to play on a boys' team.
Heaven forbid girls should be with boys ever.
They say 13-year-old boys would have impure thoughts.
Impure thoughts. You might as well stop the girls from, watching the sport as well.
Why?
Because they might have impure thoughts while they're playing.
What's wrong with you?
I'm just saying, that's a ridiculous argument.
That's the argument that's separating men and women in the synagogue too.
Let's just say I'm not in very much agreement with that.
Not much I can do about that.
You know what? If it's the men's problem, that's what I don't get it. If they actually think it's the men's problem, and, they can't control themselves and see women, then why is it that the women have to be the furthest away from the Torah?
Because the men are obligated by God to pray.
By God.
And
you know what?
Aren't.
If no, fine.
So the men have to be close to where the prayer is, and the women aren't. It's not that necessary.
But if the women want to be there,
30 seconds?
Yeah, already.
If the women want to be there, then why should they be at the disadvantage just because someone else has?
They're not disadvantaged. They just don't have the obligation that men have.
No, but then why are they put furthest away from the Torah? Sometimes on a different floor.
Because they have to be separated from the men.
Fine, but why not put the men on the top? If they're
Because the men have to be close to the Torah, because it's the men's obligation to read from the
Fine,
Torah.
why put the women and the men close? The same as the
I don't
same
understand what you're
distance from the
saying.
Torah. Why not put the men
They
and
have to
the
be
same
separated. They are at the same distance.
No, they're not.
In general, they
Men's
are.
Rambam on a different floor.
Okay, they run bum. I mean, some synagogues, yes, that's how the synagogues built.
I don't like that.
This is the Howie Silbiger Show on the True Talk Radio Network. Connect with Howie by phone, 514-738-4100, extension 200. By text, 438-800-6545. By email, howie@truetalkradio.com. Or by Twitter,
Now, last year I told you about this campaign that was started, a Federation-sponsored campaign called Size Doesn't Matter, where they were talking about Israel, and they were saying, and they were using this sexually charged campaign to promote Israel. Last year, the campaign showed that they had a video that they put up on YouTube last year, which showed men basically comparing the genitalia, and they didn't show the genitalia, but they just showed the men in the process of comparing the genitalia, and then the slogan was "Size doesn't matter," or "Support Israel." And then they had another one where a woman was slept with various men, and she was comparing the size of their genitalia, and another guy got into bed with her, and she looked down under the covers, and she kind of gave a cockeyed look at the camera, and it said, "Size doesn't matter, support Israel." Well, this is communal funds. This is funds that you're donating to Federation that's paying for these kind of videos. And there's a new one up now, and this one here is even more disgusting than the other two. And it is really a poor use of communal funds, to say the least. It is a disgusting use of communal funds, and this has to stop. And somebody has to stop Federation from doing this. It's a sexually provocative video showing 3 adults showering together. It's made by a Canadian advocacy group to promote Tel Aviv. The 33-second YouTube video, created for Size Doesn't Matter, features a physically fit young man dressed only in designer underwear. He stands on a balcony overlooking a vista of blue water and the sky, and then walks to the bathroom, strips, and steps into the shower. He's not shown fully naked, thank God. At least they had some decency. The camera moves from close-ups of him soaping his bare torso to his feet, which are joined by 2 additional pair of feet, a woman and another man's. And then the slogan comes up, "Tel Aviv," says the caption, "there's room for everyone." Now, the Jewish Tribune, which is B'nai B'rith-sponsored Jewish newspaper, asked several Canadian rabbis and some pro-Israel Christians to watch the video and comment on its message. Among those who agreed to speak on the record, reactions ranged from confusion and derision to disgust. I would have hoped that even supposed secular Tel Aviv had greater appeal than a shower and a threesome, said Rabbi Mordechai Zeitz, Montreal's congregation of Beth Tikva. It's unfortunate that we are afraid to market our true essence, especially as part of what the rest of the world considers the Holy Land. I think what they want to promote is an open society, but there are other ways of doing that, said Philip Scheim of Toronto's Beth David, Beth B'nai Israel, Beth Am Synagogue. You don't want people coming to Israel for sex, and that's almost what it's suggesting. It's the ultimate trivialization of the Zionist dream and bordering on the extreme offensive. Rabbi Scheim described the video as soft porn and added, "This is very poor use of communal funds. This is not what Jews fought and dreamed for over the centuries. This is not what we fought to achieve, or dreamt to achieve, or prayed to achieve." According to an op-ed written for the Jerusalem Post last October by Shimon Fogel, the CEO for the Center of Israel and Jewish Affairs, that's CIJA. SDM is a CIJA program, by the way. The Size Doesn't Matter is run by CIJA. CIJA, if you don't know, took over from Canadian Jewish Congress and Canada Israel Committee and all the advocacy groups, and is the official, they call themselves the official spokespeople of the Jewish community. Now, Until CIJA chair David Koshinsky admitted in an email blast Monday afternoon that CIJA manages Size Doesn't Matter, the connection between the two groups was not well known or fully understood, even apparently by some members of CIJA's board of directors. Stockwell Day is a former cabinet minister and former leader of the Canadian Alliance Party, and he sits on CIJA's board. Day contacted CIJA last week after he received complaints from a handful of people who were wondering if this is the most tasteful and efficient use of resources, and concerned that it may trivialize the importance of Israel's precarious situation in the world today. Day says he shares their concern. Koshinsky wrote in his email blast, which CIJA did not send to the Jewish Tribune or to any other media, I didn't get it, in response, and this is what they wrote. In response to the need to engage young people, CIJA manages Size Doesn't Matter, a campaign that stirs this demographic and appeals to their interest with content that resonates with which they can identify, and which has been proven definitively in Canada, Israel, the US, and Europe to build support for the State of Israel. CIJA spokesman Martin Sampson declined our request for an interview with Haddad and/or Solomon and said, "We have no comment at this time." However, a moderator did respond to a comment left on the SDM Facebook page by Donna Holbrook, the National Director of International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem, Canada. After watching the video, Holbrook unliked SDM's Facebook page and posted a comment asking, "Why would you do this when the beauty, history, land, people, and achievements of Israel are her crowning glory?" The moderator responded, "Sorry to have offended you, Donna, but we produce very diverse content targeting a very diverse demographic." Now, while Holbrook's comment was left standing on SDM's Facebook page, SDM deleted a critical comment posted anonymously by someone else on its YouTube page for the video. The comment, which stated in part, "Nice use of community funds, CIJA," was quickly deleted and commenting for the video was blocked on YouTube. The video is counterproductive for Israeli tourism because most of the tourists come from Christian groups, Holbrook told the Tribune. The video's message is that anything goes. From our perspective, that's just plain amoral. The video was the first of 3 produced by SDM by Love and Crossbones Films and Video Productions, according to director Sean Hayes. Haynes wouldn't disclose any financial details, but said the budget included the cost of spending 2 weeks shooting on location in Israel. They had to go to Israel to shoot a threesome in the shower? I don't understand. The video is shockingly poor taste, and Canadians would be up in arms if there was a similar advertising campaign for Montreal, Toronto, said Rabbi Chaim Steinmetz of Montreal's Congregation to Beth David, Jerusalem. Rabbi Ari Ellis of Winnipeg, Herzliya Adasi Ashurim, said, "We live in a free, open society, and people do what they want and hopefully use good judgment, but sometimes they don't, and this might be one of those examples." Rabbi Mendel Kaplan of Thornhills, Chabad at Flamingo, didn't pull any punches. "I think this ad is disgusting and offensive." Congregation Darchei Noam Rabbi Tina Grimberg said that she watched the video, but had nothing to say about it on the record. So let me get this straight. CIJA, which runs Size Doesn't Matter, which has been a disgusting campaign from the day they started, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago. They've run disgusting campaigns, all sexually charged. They believe that the only way to appeal to a young generation, the only way to appeal to 18 and 19-year-olds, and 17 and 16-year-olds, is through sex. It's through sexually depicted images. I find it disgusting. I find it a disgusting use of our money. I find CIJA a disgusting organization that should be destroyed. I really think CIJA should be dismantled. First, they claim to be Israel advocates. Then they do co-events with Peace Now, a country that, an organization that calls for the destruction of the state of Israel. And then they put out this smut to promote Israel. I believe that they should be dismantled. I believe we should hold Federation accountable for CIJA, their official advocacy arm. I believe that we should be calling our federations and we should be complaining that we don't support this smut and community money that should be going into paying for poverty, paying for people who can't afford to eat, paying for other communal things that are productive in the community. This money should be going towards that and not towards producing softcore porn to promote Tel Aviv. Itai, you're a young guy.
Yes.
You're a young guy. You're 17 years old, almost 17?
Almost 17.
You're almost 17 years old. Tell me, is this the appropriate way to appeal to 17-year-olds to support Israel?
Howie, let me just say this. Marketing in general, if you just look at anything when it comes to appealing to young people, always, I'm sorry to tell you, always, not always, but most of the time does involve, let's say, how do you put it?
Sex.
Sexually
charged images.
Sexually charged images, and that it's been used in marketing for every single thing. It's not special just to Israel. It's been used to sell clothing. It's been used to, even for political parties. Even for political parties,
So Itai.
Yes.
So a video showing a man taking a shower, and then showing the feet of 200 people in the shower with him,
Yes.
promoting Tel Aviv where anything goes. Is this the appropriate way to advertise Israel for a Jewish advocacy group, an Israel advocacy group? Is this the proper way for an Israel advocacy group to be promoting Israel?
Probably no. No, not. It makes, because I just saw the video while you were talking about it. I went to go see the video, wanted to see what you were talking about. And it looked more of a tourist video. It looked like they were really, that's what they were kind of going for. But
so what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what Vegas goes for. They put those ads there. Come here. You can pretty much do whatever you want. Which is, that's a tourist video. It's not an Israeli advocacy video. It's not like hey, support Israel. We're such a great country, kind of Israel. I never actually heard of size doesn't matter. I've never heard of that thing. I just
they've been around a few years
now. But I understand what they might be going at. They might be trying to engage young people with this sort of with sex, because I find that's a bit of a stereotype about our generation. But the problem is that it does sell. It sells when you're trying to sell clothing. For Israeli advocacy, I really don't know what angle they're trying to go in here at. It doesn't make money.
It doesn't make any sense
It makes
at all.
sense when you're trying to say, buy this shirt, buy this. It makes you look good. It makes you more likely that you will have somebody or whatever. You will have relationships. You'll have sex or whatever. That makes sense when you're trying to sell a product. But when you're trying to make people, advocate for Israel, it's very hard to go with that. You could celebrate diversity, you could celebrate acceptance, you could celebrate tolerance that Israel definitely does have when it comes to minorities and all that. That you could definitely celebrate. That would be appropriate thing to put in that. But that's not at all what they're doing.
514-738-4100, extension 215. Do you feel that public money should be put into making softcore porn videos to promote Israel and Tel Aviv? To get our young people to like Israel, we have to show them pornography. Do you agree with this? This is what CIJA thinks is appropriate. This is what our federations are producing. Our federations are pulling religion out of our communities.
Did they put this? Was this ad for who made the ad?
They hired a company to make it.
Hired a company, but where's it aired?
On YouTube, and they're spreading it through social media.
So it's not being put on Montreal,
who knows,
or something like that, because probably it's much cheaper to put it on YouTube.
514-738-4100, extension 200. I think it's disgusting. I think that our federation should not be spending money to produce softcore porn to promote Israel. I think promoting Israel should be done through advertisement that makes Israel look good. Show the production that Israel showed, show the positive side of Israel. Israel's a lot more than just a war. So show the positive side of Israel. Israel has a lot of achievements, a lot of things that we could promote that would make Israel look really good amongst our young people.
I think
but a threesome, three people standing in a shower, showering together, and saying Tel Aviv, where anything goes, really to me is disgusting.
I think it would be
offensive.
I think it would be it make more sense if this was a tourist video made by, let's say,
I don't even think it would make sense for that. Israel's the Holy Land. It's supposed to be the Holy Land.
Yes, but if you're trying to get tourists, and tourists don't always come for the whole, let's be honest. Tourists don't always come for
90% of the tourists that come to Israel come because it's the Holy Land. Let's go to phones.
I want to see a real statistic on that.
Yeah, hi, I'm calling you back again because I did check it out. Okay?
Yeah.
I checked it out on YouTube. I wouldn't say it's disgusting, but inappropriate would be a better word.
So do you think this is the proper way for our federations to be promoting Israel?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. No organization, Jewish organization or federation should have to stoop to such a low level to promote Israel.
What's interesting?
Promote Israel on Israel's merits, and there's a lot of merits. There's technology. There's the Holy Land. It's morality. There's a lot of pluses that we have a lot to work with, that we don't have to go down and show that Tel Aviv is a fun place because you have these guys and girls shouting together.
To me, it's disgusting. And what's shocking, what's surprising to me is that pro-federation people who are involved in federation, like Chaim Steinmetz, the rabbi of TBDJ,
right.
he made a statement saying it's shocking and poor taste. Canadians would be up in arms. Canadians would be up in arms if there was a similar advertising campaign for Montreal or Toronto. And I agree with them. I don't normally agree with Rabbi Steinmetz, but I agree with him that yes, he's right. He's right. This is a disgusting. This is not appropriate for promoting Israel. Thanks for calling, Barry. Appreciate it. 514-738-4100 extension 215. Do you feel that Federation CIJA is doing a proper job in promoting Israel? They came up with a video, 33-second video on YouTube that they've been propagating through Twitter and through Facebook amongst the young people, which shows a physically fit young man dressed only in designer underwear getting into a shower with two other people. And the tagline is, Tel Aviv, there's room for everyone. Do you feel this is appropriate to show such sexual imagery when promoting the Holy Land? I really don't think so.
The question then comes is how let's say this wasn't an ad trying to do for Israeli advocacy, which I think it fails on all accounts. But the question is, if you look at it, if this was, let's say, an advertisement campaign by the Israeli government to try and get young people, let's say, to come to Israel,
I would have the same problem with it.
No, but if it was an advertising campaign, would you not see maybe the appeal of how that would work in getting people to, let's say, just visit Israel, to be tourists in Israel?
Come to Israel so you could practice debauchery? No, it doesn't work for me. I'm sorry.
But
Israel is supposed to be the Holy Land.
Yes,
no, don't come to Israel. Don't come to Israel for debauchery in the Holy Land. No, you have better place you go to for debauchery. You want to perform debauchery? Go to Vegas, right? Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
No, but that's what Vegas stands for. That's what Vegas.
Fine, that's Vegas.
No,
Vegas is in Israel.
But see, here's the thing. I'm trying to say that, like, take this away from, like, the whole CIJA and promoting Israel, let's say, Israel advocacy. Vegas likes to run itself.
But that's the issue. They're using community money to make softcore porn to promote Israel.
And I think we all agree that it's wrong and it doesn't really achieve the goal it sets out to achieve. And I can kind of understand where they were trying to, what they were hoping for. They were hoping, that it would appeal to a younger audience.
Well, like an audience like you will say, "Oh my God, let's go to Israel so we can have a threesome." Is that what they were trying to get?
Let's go to Israel. The appeal is all. When you learn in marketing,
let me ask you this.
And that's what they were trying to do. They failed.
Let me ask you this. If this was an ad for Birthright.
Yes.
For a birthright trip. If this was an ad for a birthright trip, right? Which is really the trip that tries to get young Jews who aren't connected to Israel to go to Israel. If this was an ad for birthright,
it's inappropriate.
Would you say that this was an appropriate ad?
Oh yeah, let's go. No, I wouldn't say that. It's inappropriate.
It would get kids to go on birthright. That's guaranteed.
It's inappropriate because you have to know what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get people to advocate for Israel in a very hot political environment where there are people saying Israel's an apartheid state, that really fails on all accounts. If you're trying to be like Vegas and say, hey, come have fun in Vegas, I can kind of see what that's trying to at least achieve the goal that they're trying to set out. This is not at all. That's what I think.
514-738-4100 extension 215. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't think we should be giving money to these organizations. I think Federation has lost their moral compass. And I think they have to start
What's the
looking
connection, just for people to understand, between Federation and CIJA? They're the same.
CIJA is the political arm of Federation.
They're the political arm of Federation.
Yeah, they're the official spokespeople of the Jewish
This is
people.
the political ad.
Yes, they're the political arm of Federation. They're the official advocacy group for Judaism and Israel.
And they released this. It wasn't just a...
Well, it's one of their arms. Size Doesn't Matter is a campaign that they created.
By CIJA.
By CIJA, yeah.
Okay.
The Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs.
Well, if I can just say, in 2008, when Barack Obama was running for president, I remember that there was an ad. I don't quite recall what it entailed, but it did entail pretty much if you vote for Barack Obama, you will get laid. And that was the ad. And people were arguing whether that was an appropriate political ad. And people saying, well, this is what they were trying to appeal to. They were trying to appeal to a younger demographic. And I think this is a bigger issue of how marketing knows that if you try and sell sex, it really, whether we like it or not, it does.
I will agree with you.
Yes.
But somebody had to greenlight this project, right?
Yes.
And when somebody in CIJA, a CIJA committee had to greenlight this project. So when a CIJA committee was sitting in CIJA's boardroom in the middle of a Federation building, either in Montreal, Toronto, or wherever they were sitting, probably in Toronto, and they were sitting in a CIJA boardroom in the middle of the Jewish Federation, and they watched a video of a man getting naked and walking into a shower with two other people, some kind of moral value went flying out the window when they said, yeah, let's go with it.
I
don't know what they were thinking.
I think,
and this is just another nail in the coffin of CIJA, in my opinion. I think that CIJA has proven that it cannot be the official spokespeople of the Jewish community, that it cannot be the official advocacy group for Israel. First of all, they started with. They teamed up with Peace Now, and they brought an anti-Israel speaker who went on a tour under CIJA's logo and Peace Now's logo, condemning Israel as an apartheid state. And then they put out this video of a threesome, a sexual video promoting Tel Aviv.
So Howie,
I don't get where the Israel advocacy comes in here. All I see is smut and anti-Israel propaganda. I don't get it.
So let's move forward.
Let's move
forward in conversation. How do you get young people then? How do you get young people then involved? Because you know what, a lot of young people, one would say, are getting, let's say, less interested in Israel. Just to say, there are young people who might not feel that connection, who have no real reason. How do we get young people?
And Federation has been doing a great job with the Birthright program. And you bring kids back 2-3 times to Israel, suddenly they're connected to Israel.
Okay.
Birthright has been doing an excellent job in connecting young, unconnected Jews to Israel. And I commend the Birthright program. At first, I didn't like it. At first, I thought the Birthright program was just a scam.
What does the Birthright program entail?
They take Jews who aren't connected to Israel and they send them to Israel for free on a 3-week trip.
Yeah.
And they give them a full Jewish experience during that 3-week trip, and then they take them back for a follow-up trip afterwards.
Oh, so it's like a two-time
trip. And they say the second time really solidifies the connection between Israel and the Jewish kid. We have to take a little break. I'm Howie Silbiger. It's the Howie Silbiger Show. I invite you to call in and tell me if you're just fed up. I am fed up, completely fed up with CIJA and their antics. I'm fed up with Federation and their advocacy arm. Their advocacy arm that brings their official arm of Federation, which is supposed to promote Israel and is supposed to be an advocate for Israel and supposed to be an advocate for the Jewish people, who brings in an anti-Israel speaker with Peace Now, and now releases softcore porn to promote Tel Aviv. I'm fed up with it. Are you as fed up as I am? 514-738-4100 extension 200. I'm so fed up I can't even get the sentences out anymore. This really upsets me. 514-738-4100.
You do get upset
extension 215. 514-738-4100 extension 215. Itai Azarat is in studio with me. I want you on the phone. 514-738-4100 extension 215.
I'm looking at the Size Now ads, and they're very weird. Like, it seems like something College Humor would put out.
Yeah, it's weird. They're very strange. Let me see the one with the threesome. I didn't see it.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at another one that you want to do. It's just stupid weird. It's a guy taking a shot. Look. This was on the location, so like there. And then back. That's it.
He actually went out to Israel just to shoot that?
Yeah. He takes off his underwear, and then he starts watching himself.
The way to do it. Donor Perfect allows a non-profit organization to maintain all aspects of the fundraising process. The program is currently used by more than 6,500 organizations worldwide and has been adapted by Agena Informatique for use in Canada. For more information, call Agena, A-G-E-N-A, at 514-938-1221.
I can't hear it. My volume is not very good. Oh, no, forget that.
This sounds really horrible.
No, I know.
USB internet sticks rentals, great deals on car rentals or hotel bookings for Israel. DNG Communications over 10 years serving the Jewish community with all type of communication needs. 514-278-8360. We're located at 5727 Park Avenue, corner Bernard. Are you looking for some expertise in marketing and communications? Cominex, providing research and advice for your marketing needs and the answers for you. Call Cominex at 514-705-5810. That's 514-705-5810. Hi, my name is Samuel Zerzer. I'd like to invite you to our program called Money and Business, and we will talk about the financial market, the economy, and your money every Wednesday at 4 p.m. on the radio show, 1650 a.m. Happy capitalism.
30 seconds?
Yeah.
You're listening to Radio Show 1650 on the dial, and if you're looking for
So strange.
you can hear it several times.
That's College Humor.
12
It's very strange.
10 p.m. on Radio Shalom.
Turn the volume up.
My name is Jonah.
Oh, they have a Memorial Day siren. That's you know, that's
dedicated volunteers.
appropriate.
Help us serve you better. Advertise
It's not Memorial Day.
services on our radio. Call 738
St. John Baptist Day.
4100
Baptiste.
extension 201.
Saint Jean Baptiste. I'm going to a bonfire for it tomorrow.
Of course.
This is the Howie Silbiger Show on the True Talk Radio Network. Connect with Howie by phone, 514-738-4100, extension 200. By text,
Did they let you keep the laptop after you went there?
Nice to get it back in a few weeks.
by email, Howie.
They're phasing them out. Now they're giving out iPads that you can keep. That you can keep.
That's stupid. Because you can't do Word documents on that thing.
And welcome back to the program. My name is Howie Silbiger. Number to call, 514-738-4100. And for this week only, it's 215. So extension 215. So if you call 200, hang up and call 215 because 200 is not working. It's our wonderful equipment here at Radio Shalom. Sometimes it works and sometimes it just doesn't. So give me a call, 514-738-4100, extension 215. Itai Azarat is in studio with me. We're talking about Israel advocacy. We're talking about this promotional video that was put out by a group called Size Doesn't Matter. It is a subgroup of the Canadian, what do they call themselves? CIJA, which is the Center for Israel and Jewish Advocacy, Federation-sponsored group which replaced Canadian Jewish Congress and Canada Israel Committee, and have shown that they can't be the representative of Israel. They can't be the advocate, the Canadian advocate of Israel or Judaism. They have co-sponsored the event in the last couple of months. They co-sponsored the event with Peace Now, and that brought in a anti-Israel speaker, which called Israel an apartheid state. And they sponsored this group called Size Doesn't Matter. It's one of their subgroups called Size Doesn't Matter that has consistently put out smut, literal smut, to promote Israel. The 33-second, brand new 33-second YouTube video shows a guy getting into a shower with two other people, and the caption is Tel Aviv. There's room for everyone. It is disgusting use. It is a disgusting, perverted use of our communal funds that could go to do a lot more better good within the community. And this is a waste of money. And it's not really going to attract anyone, in my opinion. It's smut, and it shouldn't be there. And this group shouldn't exist. In fact, I don't even think CIJA should exist anymore. 514-738-4100, extension 215. I am very happy I don't give them money. I'm extremely happy I don't donate to Federation.
Okay, Howie, I have two questions for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this group at all connected with CJPAC?
Yeah, it's all part of the same...
the Canadian Jewish Political Action?
Yeah, they're all part of the same umbrella group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. CIJA is the mother hen of all these different groups.
Okay. See, I don't understand any of this.
Yeah.
And second, okay, so we're talking, I think we've all established the problem. But now you, as an educator now, soon to be, about Israeli advocacy,
Yeah.
I think the community would like to know how you are going to teach.
I don't think the community wants to know that. I think you want to know that.
Yes, I think I do, and I think a lot of the community wants to know how you intend to teach, how you intend to want to bring the community to becoming more advocates for Israel.
Well, Israel. Well, Itai is implying that, he's implying because he hasn't stated it, that I recently accepted a job at one of the local high schools to teach Israel advocacy, and I will be starting to teach that course in September.
Yes.
In late August, actually, when school starts up again, I'll be teaching.
It took away part of August.
I'll be teaching grade 11 classes Israel advocacy. And so I tend to teach people how to respond to smut and filth like this, and how to respond to anti-Israel propaganda on CJEP campuses. You're going to CJEP, you're going to see it, it's there.
Yes, and so I think because there's no real curriculum for me, there's no real, you're given a lot of, let's say, freedom on how you intend to teach the course.
Well,
relatively.
Every school has a curriculum, right?
Yes, but even in some schools, like for example, E is certain.
You have a little bit of leeway.
Yes, and so I think my real question is to you: how do you regulate? How do you regulate debate between differing opinions when it comes to Israel? Because even inside the Jewish community, there are those who condemn many actions that are done by Israel that others think that we shouldn't. There are those who think that Jewish people should never attack the state of Israel, denounce it in
If
any
I
way.
tell you that
Yes.
Israel is an apartheid state,
Yes.
an imperialistic, Zionistic, Nazi apartheid state, which is what you're going to hear when you get onto the Dawson campus.
Yes.
This is what they're going to tell you. How do you respond to that?
You know, at a certain point, you can't talk to certain. You can't.
But how do you respond to that? You pick up the school newspaper and you read in the school newspaper that the imperialistic, Zionistic, Nazi, apartheid state of Israel did this. How do you respond to it?
Then you put up your own news article in, like, let's say the CJEP paper,
Okay,
saying
but you
that
have
it's
to know
100% wrong.
But you have to know what to say, right?
Well, you got it.
So I'm going to impart the information that you need in order to counter these kind of claims.
Yes.
This is what I'm going to do. This is my goal,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that when these kids who graduate at the end of grade 11 next year, and they graduate, they move on to CJEP or move on to other campuses, and they come across a newspaper article, they come across a guy standing in the hallway going, "You Zionist pig, you apartheid supporter, you imperialistic bastard," right? When you come across a guy who's saying that to you, you know how to answer them. There are answers to this. You could argue the point.
No, but then Howie, my question for you is, there are Jews who say that no Jew should ever condemn the state of Israel in front of, let's say, non-Jews. I've heard people in
I've
my
heard
own
people
class
say that too.
And I have major issues with that.
I held rallies in front of the Israeli consulate to protest against the Oslo Accords. All right, way back then, I held rallies in front of the Israeli consulate protesting the Oslo Accords. You may agree with it, you may not agree with it, but there were many, many, many people who condemned me for condemning the state of Israel, in public
Yes.
in front of non-Jews. In Israel, I was working for the Shamir government, and I was organizing protests against the Shamir government for going to Madrid to speak to the Palestinians. So
the question is,
I got fired, but that's another story, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, when you're protesting against, your employer.
Yeah. He wasn't too happy about it.
Because I've heard people tell me that I should not condemn the state of Israel in front of non-Jews.
Look,
that I should always be.
The truth of the matter is that there are some things that the state of Israel does that's condemnable.
Yes.
Okay? Like every other country, no one's lily white.
Yes.
So there are stuff that's condemnable. I have no problem condemning the
Even
state
in
of
front of
Israel.
non-Jews, because
I
some
don't
people.
care. I do it on the radio. I don't care.
Yes. Okay.
I don't care.
We're in agreement here.
I don't care who hears the condemnation, because when I do something bad, someone's going to condemn me. When a country does something bad, you have to condemn the bad things the country does.
Exactly.
But the question is, and this is where people are a little shaky on this, right? The question is, did Israel do what you're condemning them for doing?
Yes.
Look, just in 2008, just recently, 2008, what's 5 years ago, Israel went into Jenin, and there was that little operation they did in Jenin, right?
Where's Jenin?
Do you remember this?
I don't know.
The city of Jenin?
No, I'm sorry.
And the Palestinians came out and said that Israel massacred hundreds and thousands of Palestinians in that town, when in fact there was only one Palestinian who died in the town and 3 Israeli soldiers. And the Israelis actually went door to door, quietly went door to door looking for terrorists. They were knocking on doors. They were risking their own lives knocking on doors so they wouldn't kill civilians. It was a concerted effort. And at the end of everything, the number went from 100 to 50 to 35 murdered Palestinians. And then at the end of everything, they found it was under a dozen that were killed, and they were all holding guns or in ammunition bunkers. So you have to be careful on what you condemn Israel about, because it could be false propaganda information coming from the other side too.
Yes. And I think the issue really then comes on, especially in the CJEP campuses, is that a lot of students feel like they always have to be the, what is it called, the lawyer for the defense?
Yeah.
The defense lawyer for Israel. That they always have to play that role in front of non-Jews.
It's not necessarily true.
No, but I've heard from many Jews that's what they think people should do. That they should always play the defendant role. They should always defend the state of Israel and say, well, there's other, that they feel that you can only condemn the state of Israel if you're in Israel.
The problem with the campus organizations that protest the state of Israel is they always present half truths. There's never full truth up there. a lot of the times they'll say this is the Israeli massacre of 2012, and they'll show you pictures from 1987. Right? Some massacre Israel did in 1987. There was no massacre in 2012. Nothing happened there. But they took pictures from another massacre, or took pictures from Syria, or took pictures from somewhere else, and attributed it to an Israeli massacre. And this happens a lot. It happens in newspapers. It happens on campus. It happens a lot. And so this is what you have to watch out for. You have to be a critical thinker when you're going and looking at these displays. Instead of reacting from emotion, you have to react from information. And that's really where it comes down. That's really what it comes down to. If you're armed with the information, you have the reaction. If you're armed just with emotion, you're going to be screaming, "You're a liar! You're a liar! You're a liar!" And they're going to shut you down because they're smarter than you.
Now,
they have more information.
Do you advise students who are going into CJEP right now? Do you advise them to talk, have a conversation, try and have a discussion with the other side in CJEP?
Only if you have the information.
No, but so
what I'm saying is that if you're walking in there and you say, and they say Israel's a Nazi state, and you say Israel's not a Nazi state, there's no concentration camps for the Palestinians, and then the other side's going to say to you, well, what about the refugee camps? Look, you're building walls around them, and you have guards on these walls, and they're shooting people who are trying to cross the walls. Well, what do they do in the concentration camps? And you sit there with your tongue hanging out because you have no answer to them. That's one thing. If they say that Israel is an apartheid state because because they built a wall between the Jews and the Palestinians, and that creates apartheid Bandistan state, where the Jews are separated from the Palestinians, totally ignoring the fact that there are millions of Palestinians living within Israel proper, right? Totally ignoring that fact, right? But just the fact that there were terrorists coming in, that people coming in terrorizing the population, and when they built the security fence, it cut out terrorism by almost 100%. You don't hear about bus bombings anymore in Israel because they've cut them off. They've cut off the terrorists' legs, but they're going to use that security fence and call it an apartheid fence. Because you're separating Palestinians from the Jews, therefore you're creating apartheid, like the separation of the blacks from the whites in South Africa. But if you know anything about the history of South Africa, apartheid in South Africa was inherently different than what's going on in Israel today. It was 100% different. It was a totally different environment, a totally different time, a totally different reason. Everything was different about apartheid. So the argument is ridiculous, but it holds water when you don't have an answer for it. It holds water when you get into an argument. There's 100 people standing around listening to your argument, and he calls it an apartheid state, and you stand there and you have nothing to say. So what I'm saying is, if you don't have the ammunition to fight back, don't get into the fight. Because you're doing more harm than you are good.
But you do say that you should let's say, make sort of your mission to go forward and have that discussion with the opposite side.
Your mission should be to have the ammunition to go and have the argument.
But you say that they should have the argument, or they should just...
If you have the ammunition, have the argument. If you don't have the ammunition, don't have the argument. If you don't know what you're talking about, and you're going and you're making and you're arguing, you're doing more harm than you are good.
Now,
because it's not, you're never going to convince the guy who's arguing with you that he's wrong. But the argument you're having is for the people listening around you. It's for the circle of people who've come around you and are listening to what you're saying, right? It's the court of public opinion, as they call it. So your argument is for the court of public opinion, not for the guy you're arguing with, because you're never going to convince him, he's never going to convince you, right? That's a lost cause. You're arguing to convince everybody else listening, everyone who's eavesdropping on your conversation. If you don't have the information or you sound like an idiot, it ain't going to happen. That's not going to work. And basically, the people standing around are going to go, "Oh, well, maybe he's right." You know, that guy didn't even know what to answer.
I just wanted to tell you a little story. I saw a video on YouTube that talked about the Palestinian history and whatever. And there were major issues with the video, but one of the parts of the video is that it talked about, where the Palestinians live. So they mentioned Gaza and they mentioned the West Bank, but they never mentioned the 2 million Palestinians that live in Israel, or the millions of Palestinians that live in Jordan. They didn't mention them because they don't want to talk about where they are, what are their conditions. And that's what I find the problem with a lot of this, is that they ignore, they give half truths. There are some truths to what, the bad conditions that they are in those situations, and we can have a conversation about to what certain extent Israel has caused them. And there is they ignore the what is going on in Israel with the Palestinian population, how some of them consider Israel their home, they live there, and the Palestinians live in Jordan, who they consider that their home as well.
514-738-4100, extension 215, if you want to get on the conversation. 514-738-4100, extension 215. Itai Azrad is in studio with me. In the 1970s, Yasser Arafat realized that the majority of Jordanians were Palestinians. So he relocated into Western Palestine, which is Jordan. The Mandate of Palestine incorporated Jordan, right? He moved into Jordan, and they were going to take over Jordan. And the Hashemite king was sitting there. He was put in there by England. When England gave up the mandate, they put a Hashemite king into Jordan. They created all the boundaries that there are now. They stood up the whole area, and he was going to take over Jordan. So what did Jordan do? They threw all the media out. They shut their country down, and they killed 100,000 Palestinians. They massacred 100,000 Palestinians.
Under whose rule? The British? Well,
under King Hussein.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Right? Massacred 100,000 people. Nobody said a word. No UN condemnations. No world media screaming. No front page headlines. No nothing. And they reopened the country. They come back in. Right? They threw Arafat and the PLO out. And everyone came back in. That was right at the beginning of the PLO. The PLO only started in 1964. They only became active in 1967, right after the Six-Day War. So that was their first. That was their first opera. The goal was to create a Palestinian state in Jordan. When Jordanians threw them out, they went to Tunisia, and from there they started the attacks on Israel. So when you understand the history and you understand what happened historically in the region, and you understand where everyone's looking from, then you can understand how to argue the point. I always believe that you can't have an argument with someone unless you understand their point of view. I can't argue with you unless I understand what you're going to say to me. If I don't know what you're going to say to me, I can't argue. I can't have a counter to you.
Now, let's say you're in the classroom. There are students there, and you're telling them, certain facts, ammunition for them to know for when they have the argument. But then there's students who disagree with you, disagree with what you are saying. Now, how far are you going with this ammunition? Are you going to present this? Are you going to present certain things as just fact, or are you going to leave pretty much a lot open to debate and discussion?
There'll be plenty of debate and discussion.
No, but are you going to leave the information you are giving to debate and discussion?
Look, you can't argue a fact. What happened. History is history.
No, but then there are certain, different interpretations of why this happened, why that happened, whose fault is it that happened.
There's no interpretation of history. I'm not planning on blaming anyone for anything. And these are the facts. Let's look at the facts, right? You got to look at the facts. That's what it is.
Okay.
I don't blame anyone for anything. We look at the facts, and the facts tell the truth.
So then, So let's say you present certain facts, and there are certain students who find them wrong, who say they're incorrect, because you are going to find certain.
And you could challenge me. That's what I'm there for. That's what this class is all about.
All right.
That's all. If I walk into class and I tell you that Israel is a imperialistic Zionistic Nazi state, I don't expect you to sit there quietly and accept me saying this.
I'd ask to see your PhD,
I
which most likely won't exist.
I don't expect people to sit there and take it.
Yes.
I expect people to argue with me. So, the point of Israel advocacy and teaching Israel advocacy is to teach people excuse me, how to argue.
How to argue. And so that's what you and Drew have as the goal of this class, just really how to argue the point for Israel.
Yes.
And about Israel advocacy, will you be including, let's say in that program, considering you're teaching it, will you be including certain things about how the political side of it, mainly how certain political parties, more talking United States, all try to be political active, or like APAC or CJPAC. Are you going to be providing, let's say, the political atmosphere of what's going on, of how Israel advocacy could be done politically, environmentally, in all those different ways?
I'm still working on the course. I'm still developing it, but I'm planning to incorporate all elements of how to be an active Jew when it comes to Israel.
And what would you say to students who'd say that it's not their job? They live in Montreal, they never want to go to Israel. It's not their job to be an Israeli advocate.
That's fine. Then you don't have to be. But knowing you are Jewish, and knowing you are going onto a university campus, or a CJEP campus, same thing. Going onto a campus, you are going to be attacked as a Jew. You're going to be pointed out, you're going to be attacked. And when they attack you, you can say, I have no comment, and walk away, and they're going to keep attacking you. Or you could answer. So you have the option. But don't leave without the ammunition. Don't go onto campus without the ammunition. Enough ammunition to fight if you have to fight. But you don't have to fight, so don't. I mean, you could be a pacifist and not fight. Nobody has to be involved. You don't have to throw yourself in the front line.
Do you think that it's okay? Because some people say that you're not being a good Jew if you don't stand up for Israel when you see that there are people protesting, saying Israel's an apartheid state.
There is nothing wrong with walking away.
Okay.
There's never anything wrong with walking away. Some people are into confrontation. Some people aren't into confrontation. If the fight comes to you, know how to answer. Know how to fight back. If somebody comes and punches you in the mouth, know how to punch back. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. You could go out and throw the first punch. You could go out and receive the first punch. You could be on the front line. Look,
you're not advocating for violence, but you're using it as a metaphor. Yes.
It's a metaphor.
Just making it sure.
Yes. You could be out there. You could be out there receiving the first punch or throwing the first punch, or you could be in the background. And if it comes to you, know how to defend yourself. Not everybody's on the front line in the army, right? But if you walk into an army base and you walk into an administrative area of the army base, they'll be able to shoot you if you start up with them. Everybody has to be trained.
All right.
That's the way I feel.
And you will be starting in this coming year?
Yep.
And are you going to be using any textbooks, any books that people are going to be using?
I'm still deciding on which book we're going to use, but I'm leaning towards a couple.
One really good book is really, really good. I've read it. It's a very small book. It's called On One Foot.
Oh yeah, I know that
it's such a good book. It has all the. I don't agree with everything, but it has all for anyone. Not to like sell this book to you, but if anyone, it's a really good book. You'll find in the library. It's pretty much it has all the different condemnations of Israel and then a quick, easy response to it and the history of everything.
Another good one is A Case for Israel.
I also have the Case for Israel. But many people told me he's way too liberal. He doesn't. He's way too liberal for that. But when I read it, I found he did a very good job being like it is what it is. He tries to be the lawyer for Israel and all these different condemnations. I have the book. It's really, really, really good book.
Yeah. So I'm looking at a couple of books, but I have a month or so before I have to decide. So.
Okay, good.
I'm working on the course, and God willing, August, the end of August, I'll be starting.
Will you be doing anything on possible, let's say, peace solutions? That's
I haven't worked out the projects yet, but that might be a project. We're looking at doing something on the radio. We're looking at a bunch of stuff. So we'll see.
Is it going to be more of here's work, PowerPoint presentation? Like what's going to be the dynamic? Class discussions or like what is that dynamic? Because some teachers just give essays to do.
I'm a talk radio show host.
So
this is what I do. I talk.
So very little writing for these students.
This is what I do.
Very little writing I see for these students.
There'll be some writing, but I guarantee there'll be a lot of talking. There'll be a lot of discussion. There'll be a lot of debates. I'm pretty sure that everybody who comes to the class is going to be engaged and going to love the format.
So I think the last question, for the Herzliya students are going to be, are you a good marker, a bad marker? How hard are you?
Marking is an arbitrary thing. The better question is, how good of a student are you going to be, right? I'm a fair guy. You know me. I'm a fair guy.
Okay.
I've always been fair with everyone. I'm a really fair guy. What I feel, the way I feel about marking, I know I have to give a mark. Yes. I have no choice, right? I feel that you have to put an effort into it. If you put an honest effort into it, I don't expect you to devote your life to the course, right? But if you put an honest effort into the course and you work hard, then there's no reason why you won't get a good mark. Mm-hmm. If you treat the course like a bobo course and you don't work hard and you skip class and you don't do your projects and you don't do your exams and you don't take part in the class discussions and you don't take part in all the different things that we're going to be doing over the course of the year, then you're writing your own grade, really.
Is it? So, do you find it more difficult to make a grade if it's more oral, discussions in class?
No.
But then are you going to be holding a marking book as people talk?
No, there'll be some written stuff too.
Okay.
There has to be. there has to be. You can't teach a course like this without some writing, because we're gonna also examine how we're going to how you can write like newspaper articles and blog pieces and how to support Israel that way. It'll be part of the course. So
you can make like a little. You could like make a little many teachers sometimes use to make a little fake article piece or fake newspaper, putting all the articles in there.
I have quite a few ideas. I want to use technology a lot, so we'll
That's
work on
going to be good.
We're going to work on the web. We're gonna I have a lot of ideas about technology. Anyway, I don't want to give my whole hand over. And we're all out of time. Thank you, Itai. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next week here on the Howie Silbiger Show on 1650 AM CJRS Radio Show Montreal, and around the world on the True Talk Radio Network. See you next week.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But you had to out me on the radio.